Moving on now to 1.3. I'm moving on to 1.3. I'm moving on to 1.3. I'm moving on to 1.3 now. 1.3 reads, refer to Fig 1.3 showing the effects of global warming. Refer to 1.3 showing the effects of global warming. So this is what we have, global warming. What is global warming? I think that's what we need to know. Global warming is the excessive emission of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere or greenhouse gases, which results in higher temperatures. That's what a global warming is all about. So we are saying now some of the gases that we are that are going into the atmosphere, what they do is they trap heat, act like a blanket, trap heat, which results in higher temperatures, which means the heat on the earth is not allowed to escape. That's basically what we're talking about. This is how it results in what we call global warming. So the effects, you can say, changing rain and snow patterns, changes in animal migration life system. These are the effects that happen as a result of the temperature increasing, rising sea level, damaged corals. So this is what happened as a result of global warming. You can see some of the areas within the polar, they're starting to melt. Why? Because the temperatures are increasing. There's change in temperature, less snow and ice. Why? Because the temperatures are increasing. That's basically what it's all about, effects of global warming. And let's move on to the next one. Define the term global warming. So the question is saying, what is global warming? What is global warming? That's what this is all about. Let's define it. It is the increase in the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere. It is the increase in the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere. That's what global warming is all about. Or the excessive emission of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which results in higher temperatures. That's what it is. It's a concept. Identify two effects of global warming in 1.3. So what is happening? The two effects we are saying now, there's less snow and ice. That's one effect. We can also talk about what else? More droughts and wildfires. That's another effect as well. What we have: warm oceans, rising sea levels, changes in life cycles, thawing permafrost. So these are some of the effects from the diagram. What else do we have? List any two gases that contribute to global warming. What are any two gases that contribute to global warming? We can talk about your methane. You can talk about your carbon dioxide. We can talk about your chlorofluorocarbon, the CFCs. They contribute. Explain two factors that cause the effects identified in 1.5.2. 1.3.2, the effects that we have talked about. Explain two factors that cause. What is causing this? 1.3.4. Power stations, factories burning fossil fuels. We can talk about deforestation. We can talk about livestock, especially cattle. That's where the methane is coming from, of course. Aerosol release CFCs and halocarbons into the atmosphere. Waste dumps release methane into the atmosphere. Increasing rice production causes the release of more methane. So these are some of the things that we can actually talk about. Power stations and factories burning fossil fuels, deforestation, livestock, especially cattle. So that's basically what we can actually talk about. Then discuss three sustainable strategies that we can use to reduce global warming. We can actually use another alternative forms of energy. Instead of use coal energy, let's use solar energy. That's what we can do. We can also reduce the overall emission of greenhouse gases. Reduce the overall emissions of greenhouse gases by encouraging industries to become green, to make sure that in their production process they try by all means to reduce pollution. We introduce legislation as well to make sure that we say the more you pollute, the more you pay. So this in a way will also reduce global warming. We can also reduce the emission of methane, promote sustainable forms of agriculture. We can also impose heavy fines for those ones who are polluting. The more you pollute, the more you pay. That's how we can actually reduce global warming. We can also try to reduce population numbers because in a way they also contribute to global warming. Then plant more trees to absorb. That's what we do, because if we've got more trees, they're going to use also carbon dioxide in the process of photosynthesis. So that in a way will also reduce. We can use public transport and try by all means to make sure that we reduce the number of traffic as well, because it's a major contributor also to global warming. We can also bring about awareness or public education. These are some of the things that we can do in order to make sure that we reduce global warming. So that is it in as far as this question is concerned. That is the effects of global warming. Thank you.